Now, WrestleMania is the biggest show of the calendar year. WWE should be firing on all cylinders heading into the show. Even when WWE wasn't doing well from a financial and creative perspective, WrestleMania was still a show that Vince McMahon knew he had to deliver a compelling and creative build for. Additionally, it was a time of year that casual fans watched Raw and SmackDown, as they knew in the back of their minds that WrestleMania was on the horizon. In 2025, the WWE product is doing extremely well from a financial perspective. However, an array of poorly received shows, booking calls, and a truly alarming pricing model has left WWE in a problematic position. As it stands right now, WrestleMania could be one of the lowest attended WrestleMania events of the past 2 decades. Why has this occurred? Is it as simple as tickets being too expensive, or does it go beyond dollars and cents? Pre-Mania hype ensues. A WrestleMania season traditionally starts with the Royal Rumble in January. However, this year, due to WWE Raw launching on Netflix, January was a truly stacked month, and this likely influenced WWE moving the annual event to February 1st. And with that being said, the date didn't truly matter, as after the show was over, fan excitement for WrestleMania had completely disintegrated. In relation to the Women's Rumble, Triple H opted to go with Charlotte Flair as the winner. This was a safe choice, yet Flair's win wasn't going to lead to the most exciting story arc heading into WrestleMania. The fans in the arena were lukewarm to the win, however the reaction online was less than stellar. Fans on social media labeled the choice as uninspiring, and fans called out Triple H for putting zero effort into a compelling story for the winner of the matchup. The reaction on YouTube should have acted as a wake-up call for WWE, as the dislikes were out of control, and it was evident that the fans were unhappy. When it came to the Men's Rumble, the Jey Uso win told 2 stories. In the arena, fans loved the idea of Main Event Jey winning the matchup, however the reaction online was one of anger and borderline disgust. Fans were legitimately seething that Jey had just won the match, and there was a strong consensus that the win should have gone to CM Punk or John Cena. Fans had a lot of questions surrounding the win. Why Jey? Jey had just wrestled for the world title at a major event a week prior, and now he was getting another shot? It was an unusual approach to say the very least. It was even reported that Jey's big win had been planned for some time, which showed just how much faith the game was putting into Jey to sell WrestleMania. Unfortunately, whilst both Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso are incredibly gifted performers, they've never been established as mega draws in their own right, and this was seen with the WrestleMania ticket sales. According to popular site WrestleTix, in the week following the 2 respective Rumble wins, WWE shifted 260 and 390 tickets for each respective night. That's it. This should have been incredibly alarming for WWE, as the Rumble should act as a catalyst for a huge boost in ticket sales, but this didn't happen. Was this strictly down to WWE's pricing model, or did the negative reception to the 2 Rumble winners lead to fans having zero interest in purchasing a ticket to the biggest show of the year? The heel turn. Now, it was reported that Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE title was planned for WrestleMania back in January. However, nobody expected Cena to turn heel. Cena turning heel was truly the most shocking booking move in recent memory, and a lot of fans saw WWE hitting the panic button and trying to deliver something unexpected on the road to WrestleMania. It was reported in the aftermath of the turn that initially Rhodes was going to be the one to turn and sell his soul to The Rock. This would have been a total disaster, as Rhodes is the face of the company, and WWE may have walked into a situation similar to the Stone Cold heel turn back in 2001. Another reported pitch was for Cena to turn heel at WrestleMania. This would have worked extremely well, yet the heel turn was moved to Elimination Chamber, no doubt to generate some buzz and excitement for the show. This appears to be factually correct, as even the game would make a passing comment on how it now feels like they're on the road to WrestleMania, and the heel turn was perhaps the one thing WWE needed to take things to the next level. Ticket sales following the turn and subsequent match announcements were gradual, yet it still didn't see a mass surge of fans rushing to buy tickets, and this led to a lot of fans questioning if WWE would look to reduce the price of tickets in order to make sure that the event was well attended. A slow build. The first 5 weeks of the build to WrestleMania received significant criticism from fans. Hardly any of the angles managed to hit a home run on television, and it didn't seem like WWE were taking the WrestleMania build seriously. Whilst other WrestleManias such as 17 and 31 both delivered less than stellar builds, yet ultimately delivered a classic show, there's no reason WWE shouldn't want to deliver both. A compelling and exciting build makes fans know that TV every single week is going to be a must-see event, and of course, making each respective WrestleMania rivalry as engaging as possible will make more people attend the show. It's a basic formula that WWE often drops the ball on. A lot of the feuds during the first 5 weeks felt lifeless, and it was only until recently in which WWE hit that big red panic button and remembered that WrestleMania was less than 2 weeks away. In relation to Rhodes vs Cena, Cena's first few promos were solid, yet as weeks went on, they became repetitive. Cena's lack of explanation for siding with The Rock was frustrating as a viewer, and fans called out Cena's reasoning for turning heel for having a ton of plot holes. Thankfully, an epic promo segment between Rhodes and Cena in London saved the build. Now the match finally feels like a WrestleMania main event. The other main event set for night 2 is CM Punk vs Roman Reigns vs Seth Rollins. The feud has one of the most unusual builds to a WrestleMania main event ever. For the first few weeks, one of the names involved would come to the ring and tell the audience that the other names involved in the feud aren't even on the show. This led to extensive booing, and names such as Punk and Paul Heyman struggled with how to handle this rejection. Why WWE haven't made it their quest to ensure that all three men are on at least one show a week is anyone's guess. The feud itself lacks any genuine heat, and it feels like it's relying on star power to sell the match. The Heyman angle is fine, yet it feels like the match is acting as a baseline for Chapter 1 in the Punk vs Reigns rivalry. The world title match for the show, that being Gunther vs Jey Uso, struggled to get the fans on board early on. WWE had done the feud numerous times over the past 12 months, so there wasn't a lot of new ground to cover. The segments during the first few weeks felt monotonous, and WWE had to put some effort to make the fans actually care. Thankfully, this is the feud that has turned the WrestleMania build around. WWE have capitalized on the love for Usos as a tag team, and including Jimmy Uso as an emotional plot point to the story worked wonders. On the Raw from London, Gunther would annihilate Jimmy, so much so that Jimmy bled all over the ring. The angle had genuine emotion, genuine heat, and received widespread love and appreciation. This was arguably one of the only angles the entire WrestleMania season that felt like WWE were really trying to sell a match. It was perfect in every way, and if only WWE had put this much effort into every story, then they may not be struggling to shift tickets. Elsewhere, the builds have been incredibly flat. The Tiffany Stratton vs Charlotte Flair rivalry has been tarnished by both women going off script, and it's been made clear that both women aren't meeting eye to eye backstage. Whilst this real-life heat could result in magic, it's resulted in lame segments where both women look uncomfortable. The other women's title match has 3 great names with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. However, WWE waited until the last moment to even announce that Ripley would be involved, which could have been a factor in the match not receiving the Night 1 main event slot. Now, the undercard has some solid additions. Both Naomi vs Jade Cargill and Drew McIntyre vs Damian Priest have done a great job in utilizing their minutes on television, and hopefully they are able to deliver great matches on the grand stage. WWE have also recently added Bron Breakker vs Penta vs Finn Balor vs Dominic Mysterio, a fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship, as well as Rey Mysterio vs El Grande Americano. Sadly, we won't be seeing Kevin Owens vs Randy Orton, as Owens recently announced that he's suffering an injury. However, there are still a few matches that could be added to the final card, and as long as the show doesn't turn into multi-man mania, the show should be concise and focused, on paper at least. Where we stand. So has WWE hitting the panic button positively influenced ticket sales? Well, as things stand, WWE has sold almost 49,000 tickets for Night 1 and 51,000 tickets for Night 2. There's evidently more interest in Night 2, but this is usually the case. WWE have thousands of tickets left to move, and unless WWE drastically drops the prices of these tickets, WrestleMania 41 is set to have a ton of empty seats. This is all WWE's fault. A weak build combined with their utmost greed to promote the highest gate ever has been their complete downfall. Hopefully WrestleMania 41 acts as a huge lesson to WWE and TKO. If you're going to charge an enormous amount of money for tickets to a wrestling show, you got to deliver a build and a match card that warrants such a significant price tag. But there you have it, folks, how WWE went into panic mode for WrestleMania 41. Have they fixed things in a big way? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.